on Friday, we did not know whether a government of national unity would see a weekend. Both the ANC and the DA under pressure to prevent the collapse of a government of national unity. It's because of concerns over economic and political instability. Business leaders, donors, urging both parties to resolve their differences and to reform the GNU in its current form. Apparently, talks over the weekend were fruitful, but it all stems around the vote in the budget vote of last week. We had GNU members dancing in the parliamentary chamber, making a substitute sign at DA members. And then at the weekend, you have Celius Brink, leading DA member, calling the ANC members fools in a tweet. So there are plenty of calls from within and around these two parties, just lower the temperature. But this was Cyril Ramaphosa's response to business leaders saying, please, for the sake of the stability of this country and our economy, please, can you reach an agreement with the DA?
With business on a number of issues. We have been cooperating with business as we execute our reforms, because they have a role to play. Business does play a key role in the economy of our country. The private sector's participation in our economy is about 70%. So they are a major player. And as a major player, we work with them on a cooperative basis, where we work together and we listen to each other's views, and we take decisions to move the country forward. But what will not happen is for any business to give orders and to dictate what should happen, because that space is the space that is occupied by people who have been elected by the people of South Africa. Business is not elected. People who are in parliament are the ones who've been elected to represent who? The views of everyone, including the views of business people in the country. So the extent to which we cooperate with business must be understood to be a process and a relationship of cooperating to take the country forward and not to dictate to one another. And that we will never allow. We are only dictated to by the people of South Africa. Finish and clear.
Finish and clear there, Khulekani Mathe, CEO of Business Unity South Africa. The public response by Cyril Ramaphosa. But what has been your response, or the response, from the ANC and the DA following your letter at the beginning of the week? And good morning.
Good morning, Lister. I was wondering whether, am I expected to say good morning, Cape Town, before I start talking?
It's a conversation between you and I. We just have 600,000 other people eavesdropping. So good morning.
Great stuff. So, Lister, let's just firstly confirm that business leaders did write a letter to the president and the leader of the DA. And it really is, as the president said, that business, like any citizen, has a right to express its opinion. And that's what we were doing. I mean, these are weighty matters of national interest, and we were merely expressing our opinion as a concerned part of society. So that's really what it is. But let me Lister, just to put your listeners, or at least context, is that why are we here? We're here because the books did not balance, and there was a need to hike VAT, and the need to hike VAT was met with the resistance and the different political parties going in different directions. Why did the books not balance? It's because the economy is not growing fast enough to generate revenues for the government. And so we are the actors in the economy that are affected by all of this. And this is why we want to make sure that the importance of economic growth in this economy is not lost in all of this. We should continue and keep working hard with government, every other sector of society, in pushing through reforms and actions that will lead to higher economic growth. And that's really our interest in the whole thing.
Because your argument is that the time is not opportune. It's the Trump tariffs, it's diplomatic relations with our second largest trading partner, the US, that has soured. We have still the ever-facing crisis of poverty, unemployment, and also general societal instability. But the question is the time ever opportune, Khulekani?
So, firstly, I just want to make sure that we are clear that the correspondence I just confirmed was private correspondence between those leaders, and I am not at liberty to discuss every little detail of it. But what I can confirm is that, as I've said, our interest in this is that when the government, or shall we say, the political leaders last year decided to put differences aside and form the government of national unity, which was by and large not foreseen by anybody. It showed a great degree of maturity, rising above their own interest and putting the country first. And what followed was really a lot of restoration of confidence, business confidence, investor confidence, and a degree of certainty started setting in, and we began to see the green shoots in terms of the growth that we desire as a country and must work towards. And so we would not want that disrupted, because disrupting that would be a major setback. We need to focus in this economy on matters that grow the economy, especially when facing the external pressures such as we are facing coming as they do from the United States of America. That requires us to work together, be united, rather than to be at each other's throats.
So just for clarity and for the record, so you are expressing continuity in a government of national unity in its current form, and not necessarily stating a preference for participants in a government of national unity.
It is not our place to talk about who should or should not be in the a government of national unity. What we are doing is we're expressing an opinion on what is good for the economy. And what is good for the economy is that we should work towards continued stability, continued certainty that will restore and continue the confidence that we've seen in our economy. You know, political leaders must deal with the politics, but ours is to say, what makes an economy grow? What makes an economy grow is confidence, stability, and certainty.
But isn't that what people say about the markets? The markets don't really care who's in power. The markets just want to know well in advance who is going to be in power, so that they project their own modeling. The market wants stability, and you can use many other countries around the world, whether they're progressive governments or whether they're conservative governments or whether they're governments without the sterling example of human rights. Markets really care just about the stability of governments.
We say what we say, Lester, because actually, when you have an environment that is conducive to growth, then a whole lot of other things begin to come right. You stem the unemployment and hopefully over time create more jobs. Those more jobs are also important because those people will pay personal income tax, which the government desperately needs, but also it will generate revenues for the government. So really focusing on the economy is not just good for business, it's good for everybody in society. If we do not do that, we become worse off over time.
Okay, I appreciate your time and this personal conversation you and I are having with just 600,000 people listening in. Khulekani Mathe, Business
Thank
Unity
you.
South Africa CEO.